Okay, we're going to start on our backs today. And let yourself down on the back and bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees come wide. So this is our reclined bound angle pose, or our reclined butterfly pose. If it feels really uncomfortable for your hips right now to be opening up like this, you can put blocks or pillows under those knees. And today, since we're going to be starting to open through the chest, I would encourage you to bring your arms up into goalposts, if that's available to you. Put all my stuff in the way over here. Just start to see how tight you are through that chest. See if this is feeling like a stretch or if it feels nice and relaxing for you. And let's settle into our Monday night. Just start to connect with that breath. Really expanding through the front of the body today, trying to counter all of that time we spend sitting and hunched over with all the things we're doing. Even if we're doing wonderful things like being outside and gardening, still a lot of hunching over. As you breathe in, really fill up those lungs. Let that breath go all the way down to the belly. Start to feel it opening up through the hips. And as you exhale and let all of that air out of your body, see if you can release any tension that you're holding on to. Maybe your forehead or your shoulders, your chest, maybe in your hips. Or maybe you're letting go of anxiety or thoughts left over from your workday. Take 5 more deep breaths here, seeing if you can let go a little bit more and just sink a little bit more into the mat. Start to bring your knees together, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat, walking them hip distance apart. Maybe even letting your knees rest against each other, noticing how those hips feel, if they've loosened up a bit, or maybe they actually feel a little bit tight. And we'll walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat. So I have, they're bent, facing up towards the ceiling, feet are out towards the edge of the mat. You can keep your arms in those goalpost arms or bring them out straight to the side. And let the knees drop to the right, taking this into a low supine twist. Gaze can be out over that left shoulder. Breathing here, just starting to open up nice and easy. If you'd like, you can hook that right foot on the top of the left knee, but we're just starting today. I think I'm going to keep my knees just hanging freely. If you have that right foot hooked on top of the left knee, you can unhook it. And we'll inhale those knees through center. Take a breath here, making sure that spine is nice and straight on the mat. On your next exhale, let the knees drop over to the left. This poor plant takes the most abuse, I think, in this class. Hanging in there okay. Gaze can be out over that right shoulder. And same option here, you can bring the left foot on the top, the outside of that right knee, although I think my hips are just starting to open up here. So for me, having it down on the ground is giving me a nice gentle stretch. Stay connected with that breath. Notice if you have a lot running through your mind today, or if you can really focus in on the body. Focus on where you're feeling your stretch and using that breath to go deeper. Inhale, bringing those knees back through center. Take a round of breath here. Exhale. On your next inhale, stretch the arms and legs nice and long. Getting length through that torso. And we're going to go ahead and walk the feet over to the bottom left corner of the mat. And then walk the hands over to the top left corner of the mat. So feeling this nice stretch through the right side body, trying to keep the shoulder, the right shoulder and the right hip down on the mat so your body is flat on the ground. And then if you'd like to go deeper here, you can cross that right ankle over the left. And just take some deep breaths, getting long on the side of the torso. Like sometimes when I lay on my back, I feel like I can melt right down into the earth. And other times I almost feel like I can't lay flat, like I'm going to roll over. Just notice where your body is today. Take 2 more breaths on this side. Inhale through center, uncross that right foot. And as you exhale, walk those feet over to the bottom right corner of the mat. Walk the hands over to the top right corner of the mat. If you'd like to go deeper, you can cross that left leg over the right. Doing a nice stretch here. Really imagine that breath going deep into the belly. Even imagine it expanding and creating space all the way down to the hips. Maybe even being able to feel that belly blow up like a balloon as you inhale. And let's uncross that left leg if you have it crossed. A reminder again to listen to your own body tonight. Do what feels good. Inhale, stretching nice and long. Then exhale, draw those knees into the chest. Take your time, giving them a little bit of a hug. Maybe rocking side to side. I'm feeling pretty tight through the hips. I think it's because I did a good couple hours of weeding today. Let's open this up into a happy baby. Let the knees come wide. Reach your arms between the knees. Grab onto the outer edges of the feet. And start to draw those knees down on either side of the body. You can rock a little side to side here, or you can find stillness. If you can't reach the feet, you can hold on to the shins, or you can hold on behind the thighs. Just getting that nice openness through the hips. Try to keep your lower back down on the mat. Go ahead and give those knees one more hug. We'll make our way over onto our side in our fetal position. Then gently push yourself up to seated, working our way off the mat. All right, we're going to start with that same butterfly pose that we did to open class. So bring the soles of those feet together. Give yourself a moment to notice how tight you are through the hips. Are you able to sit up tall here and get your spine nice and long, or are you curving through that back? Some people are very tight here, so everyone's butterfly looks very different. And feel free to prop up those hips if you need to today. The other way you can make this a little bit easier to sit up straight is by bringing the feet further away, making this more of a diamond posture here. Wherever you are, get to a place where you can sit up straight. Inhale here, and as you exhale, start to fold forward. Keep that length in the spine as long as you can. Lead with that heart as you come forward. And then as you exhale, you can let the back curve over and just take some deep breaths here into this butterfly pose. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. You can use those hands to give yourself a little foot massage or try to open them up like a book, maybe using your elbows to help the knees push down. Take these last breaths really deep into that belly. And if you feel like holding stretches longer today, feel free to do that as well. We're going to walk our hands back up to the body. Bring the knees towards the ceiling, and we're going to straighten out our left leg. The left leg is straight out in front of us. Bring that right foot in as close to the body as you can, and try to keep the knees straight up in the air as much as possible. We're going to bring our left arm up behind us. Inhale that right arm, so with the side with the knee bent, inhale that arm high. And as you exhale, fold forward, reaching for that opposite leg, that extended leg. Breathe here. So starting to feel this opening on the right hip and trying to keep that knee in close to the body. Thinking wherever you make contact, you can relax into this pose a little bit here. One more deep breath here. And start to straighten up through that spine, coming back up through center. We'll take this right leg and bring it to the outside of the left leg. So we're going to set up for a twist. If you're finding that your hip comes off the ground quite a bit to bring it to the outside, you can keep it on the inside of the leg. Bring that right arm up behind you as a kickstand, and we'll twist to the right, breathing here. So when you're twisting, really think about having that nice long spine to twist around, about getting long through the torso, and then use your breath to go deeper into the twist. Take 3 more deep breaths here. And we'll inhale back through center, uncross that leg, straighten it out, shake up those legs a little bit. And we'll take this to the other side. So this time, keeping that right leg straight, we'll bend into the left knee. Inhale that right arm up behind you, and then the left arm comes up and reaches inside that knee, reaching for that right leg, that right foot, trying to keep the left knee in as much as you can. One more deep breath here. And start to straighten up through the spine. We'll take our left foot and bring it to the outside of the right leg. Get nice and tall through that spine. Inhale that left arm up behind you and twist to the left. Okay, let's inhale back through center. Shake out those legs, and we'll bring the legs around behind us, coming into our tabletop position. Hands come right under the shoulders, knees under those hips. Noticing how the hips feel right now. We've already done a little bit to open them up. And let's start moving through our cat-cow. As you inhale, drop that belly, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, curling through the spine, gaze down. Imagine that wave of motion starting at the tailbone, and inhaling to expand through the front of the body, opening through the heart, and exhaling, curling all the way back. If you'd like to continue with your cat-cow, feel free to keep moving, following your breath. I'm going to invite you to start taking some big hip circles. So as you inhale, coming around to one side, maybe even shifting that weight forward, letting that belly drop. As you exhale, curling through that spine and shifting all the way back through the hips. Inhaling in one direction, maybe even curling those toes as you inhale. Exhale, curling that belly button in, back, almost moving through your child's pose here. Take one more in the clockwise direction or in whatever direction you started with. And on your next exhale, we'll go back in the opposite direction. One more big circle here. Noticing how those hips are feeling tonight. Oh. Let's inhale to a flat back. And as you exhale, sit all the way back into your child's pose. Let the knees come nice and wide if that's comfortable for you tonight. And settle in here. Use your breath to open up through the back side of the body. Imagine that space that it's creating in between all of those rib bones. And then expanding through that lower back. Giving it, using the breath to give it a gentle stretch. A lot of different variations in child's pose. I'm going to invite you to bend into the elbows and bring your hands together. Walk those elbows forward and closer together, and then let the hands point down the back so they're in a prayer position here, feeling a nice stretch through the triceps, and breathe here. And let the arms come forward again. As you inhale, draw yourself up to that tabletop, curl the toes, and we'll push ourselves back to our first down dog. Take your time, let those hips get nice and high and back. Try to get that long line from your fingertips to your tailbone. And then start to just pedal out those feet, noticing how your hamstrings feel right now. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And on the bottom of your exhale, slowly walk those feet to the front of the mat, feeling those nice stretches in each leg. You can also walk your hands back to your feet, coming into your rag doll. Feet are hip distance apart, hands can intertwine in those opposite elbows, maybe adding a little sway here. Again, using this pose and using these big exhales to see if there's anywhere else you can release tension, getting the benefits of an inversion here with that head below the heart. Bend into your knees as much as feels comfortable for you. Maybe even shaking the head a little side to side. As you inhale, straighten through your spine, coming to that halfway lift. So getting that long line from your tailbone to the top of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And this time, bend into your knees slightly. Inhale those arms all the way up overhead. Oh, exhale, hands to heart. Let the palms face forward, coming into your mountain pose and giving yourself a few breaths here to let that blood come back into your head. Let the shoulders settle away from your ears and reconnect with that nice deep breath, filling up the lungs and the stomach. Be connecting with an intention today. I'm just feeling so connected with nature right now, with the bunny nest in my yard and so many birds everywhere right now, even being able to cut some flowers and bring them in the house. Just such a beautiful time of year. So much life around us right now. But connect with any thought or intention that feels good for you. Maybe even connecting with the mantra, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. So if you find your mind wandering, maybe finding that mantra to come back to the present moment. And let's step the feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. You can let the feet angle out slightly. And we're just going to shake it out here. So starting to just rotate the top body. Let those arms hang nice and loosely, and then you can let the legs come up. So almost like you're one of those toys where there's two beads on the end of string that just wrap around the stick as you're rotating it back and forth. Just letting everything hang nice and loose. See if you can really find some relaxation, and then adding a breath here. So inhaling to one side, exhale to the other. A few more. And then just slowly coming back to stillness. Stepping those, I'm making a lot of heavy sighs tonight. Bringing those feet back underneath the hips. Just take a moment to feel that blood flowing through the body, feeling that energy. And let's start to flow. As you inhale, bring those arms up overhead, stretching up towards the ceiling. Maybe a little bit of a back bend tonight, opening through the front of the chest. As you exhale, keep a slight bend in your knees. Keep that straight back, folding all the way forward, and then letting that back curve down and release. As you inhale, straighten through the spine, halfway lift. And as you exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees slightly, straighten through the back, and inhale the arms all the way up to standing. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees straight through the back, inhaling the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to that flat back, and this time we'll bring our hands to the mat and step the left foot to the back of the mat. So take your time here. Push through that left heel. Start to feel that opening through the hips. Really letting that heart shine forward. Try to get that one long line from the left heel all the way up through the head. We're going to plant into our left hand and inhale to open the right arm to the side, twisting here. Option to drop onto that left knee. Breathe here. Try to keep a long line from your tailbone through the top of your head. Every time we twist, we want to keep that straight back. 2 more breaths here. If your knee is off the ground, keep pushing through that left heel. On your next exhale, bring that right hand down, and let's all drop onto that left knee, untuck the toes. Try to keep a nice angle here on this leg. Engage your core and gently walk your hands up to that right knee. So when I was really tight in my back last week, this was very difficult for me to get into. And this week I'm much looser. That's all released and healed for me. So try to keep this left hip forward, but honor your body today. If there's any nagging injuries, anything that's annoying to you, get curious about it. See if what you're doing is helping it to release or if it's irritating it. Make sure you're adjusting and listening to your body, giving it space to heal. Let's bring the arms up overhead, trying to challenge our balance here a little bit. Really drawing those thumbs backwards, still keeping that left hip coming forward. And try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. You can keep your arms up here or maybe interlace the hands behind the back, opening through the chest, letting the neck come back. So it is a bit more challenging to our balance when we bring the head up towards the ceiling. Here. See if you can relax a little bit into that left hip. Inhale the arms back up overhead. Exhale, bring them back down around that right leg. And we're going to straighten out through the right leg by starting with the hip moving backwards. So dragging that right hip backwards and coming into our half split here. Really think about almost the sensation that you would be dragging your right heel backwards by bringing your hip back without actually moving it. And you should feel that intensify the stretch on this right hamstring. This is a great posture to use, something to get you height if you have a bed next to you. Just want to really try to keep those hips level and still let yourself fold over and target this stretch. Make sure you're not locking out that right knee. Breathe here. Really focusing on these exhales tonight. See if we can release a little bit. As you inhale, bend back into that right knee. Curl the left toes and bring the left foot off the ground. And then let that left heel drop down, parallel to the back of the mat. We're going to walk our hands to the center of the mat and bring the right toes pointing to the side of the mat, coming into our wide-legged forward fold. So start with your hands right underneath those shoulders. See if you can achieve a straight spine here. Your toes can be pointing slightly inward, or maybe they are directly forward. Maybe you even need to have them slightly out. Keeping a little bit of a bend in my knees, I'm going to inhale here and feel that nice opening through the back of both hamstrings as I curl down and hang out here in my wide-legged forward fold. Take some deep breaths here, noticing the difference between the legs. Again, really bringing that breath deep into the belly, seeing if you can create more space so that as you exhale and draw the belly button in, you might go a little bit deeper. Maybe walking the hands parallel to the feet, in line with the feet, I should say. Take your time here. We'll take 3 or 4 more breaths. And walk your hands back out underneath your shoulders. Try to get that straight spine again. We're going to bend deeply into the left leg and come up on our right heel, stretching out the inside of that right leg. So a deep side stretch. If your knee doesn't bend this far, you can stay up. Just feeling a stretch on the inside and the bottom underneath this knee here. Breathe here. We'll take it to the other side. As you inhale, come back through your wide-legged forward fold, and then as you exhale, bend into that right knee, coming up on that left heel. Stretching it out here. We're going to take this to the back side of the mat. So as you inhale, bring your weight back to the center. And as you exhale, walk your hands around that left foot. Let the left toes point toward the back of the mat. Come up on your right toes. So you're in this runner's lunge now, facing the back of the mat. Push through that right heel. Get that nice length through the legs. Nice long stretch here. Maybe even just double checking to make sure that left knee is right on top of the left ankle. We'll plant into the right hand and inhale that left arm open, twisting to the left. Option to stay off the right knee or to let it come down to the mat. Breathe here. Take one more inhale and exhale that right hand down. We'll all come down onto that right knee, untuck the right toes. Already feeling a nice opening through the front of the leg. And then when you're ready, gently walking your hands up to that left knee. So it's got that nice angle back here, helping me to stretch out the front of that leg. And if you have your balance, you can bring those arms up overhead, drawing the thumbs back, opening through the shoulder blades, letting that chest shine forward. Oh, keeping that length through the torso. I've got a lot of heavy sides tonight. That must be a good sign of me letting go, easing into these. And then if you'd like, you can bring the hands behind the back, interlace the hands, or you can hold on to opposite elbows and really open up through the front of the body. It's a balance challenge to bring the head up. Keep those abs engaged to help you here. Inhale the arms back up. And exhale, frame that left foot. We'll straighten out the left leg by drawing the hip back and taking our half split on the left side. Make sure you're not locking out that left knee and really think about that hip coming back, almost imagining that you're dragging the left hip backwards. Now this is called a half split because if you have a full split in your practice, you can take it from here by sliding that left leg forward. Now you don't usually teach that online because I can't see you guys, but if you're naturally flexible in your splits, you can take this into a full split. Take a few more deep breaths here. And gently bend back into that left knee. Bring your hands down around the left foot, curl the right toes, bring that right knee off the ground. Drop your right heel and walk into your wide-legged forward fold, pointing your left toes back to the side of the mat. We're going to bend our knees slightly, get nice and straight through your back, and bring your hands to your hips. And then gently come all the way up to standing with those legs nice and wide. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands behind the back, either interlacing the fingers or holding onto opposite elbows. Open through the chest as you inhale, and as you exhale, fold forward. Let the arms come up off the back if that's available. And breathe here in this version of your wide-legged forward fold. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can let the arms come back down to the earth. And let's all do that now, releasing the hands, bringing them down. Straightening through that spine, and we'll do those lunges one more time. So this time we'll start by bending into the right knee, walking the hands over to the right side and coming up on that left heel. Seeing if it feels a little bit looser this time through. And dropping that left foot down, walking the hands to the back of the mat, coming up on the right heel. We'll walk the hands all the way back to the front of the mat, coming into your runner's lunge here. Bringing your weight forward into that right foot, so you're up on those left toes, and as you exhale, step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up through standing. Exhale, hands to heart. I really am enjoying using these mountain poses as check-in points. So let those palms come forward. Reconnect with your breath and see how those legs feel after all those deep stretches. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to that flat back, hands come to the mat, step the left foot all the way back into your runner's lunge. Nice long stride here. Once you feel like you've got good alignment, we're gonna let the left heel drop down parallel to the back of the mat, and then walk our hands up onto our right knee, and then open into your warrior two. So warrior two, you're thinking about this right leg staying nice and open. That right knee is pointing right over those right toes, straight forward. And then ground through the outer edge of your left foot, and that's going to actually cause you to bend a little bit deeper into that right knee. This is too intense, just come up slightly. There's no, everyone in those perfect yoga pictures is at this 90-degree angle, but it doesn't matter where you are today. Let your heels be on one straight line. That's allowing your hips to stay towards the side of the mat, and those shoulders are towards the side of the mat. Arms are strong, shoulders away from the ears. Take 2 more breaths here. All right, let's straighten through that right leg. Bring that left hip backwards. So almost like you're giving someone a hip check, straight back. My body is staying totally parallel to the side of my mat, and I'm reaching forward with that right arm as much as I can. And then I'm letting my right arm come down and my left arm come straight up. So that left shoulder is stacked directly on top of my right shoulder. I'm trying to make sure I don't lock out this right knee. Keeping just a little bend, keeping all those muscles engaged. And then I'm really thinking about opening through this chest here. Maybe my left hip even comes forward towards the side of the mat just slightly, and I feel a little bit more of a stretch through that whole side of the body. This is another pose where it's really nice if you have a block. It doesn't matter if you don't want to try to touch the ground and start curving over in the back. You want to keep that integrity with the spine. So only come down as far as you can before you start to feel like, oh, I'm curving over. Try to stay on that plane with the upper body. Take a couple more deep breaths into that right hamstring. I also feel a big ankle stretch on my right side here. My foot is flexed. Bend into your right knee and inhale that right arm all the way up overhead, reversing your warrior. As you exhale, bring both hands down around the right foot, come up on the left toes. Inhale your weight forward, and exhale, step that left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up through standing. And exhale, hands to heart. We'll take it to the other side. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Hands come to the mat. Step that right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Once you feel like you have good spacing, so that left knee is over the left ankle, then drop the right heel down parallel to the back of the mat. Get your balance and bring the upper body perpendicular to the floor, opening up into your warrior two. Arms are strong, left knee is open, pointing right over those toes, pushing through the other edge of that right heel, the right foot, the other edge of the right foot, and then both heels are on one straight line. If you were to draw a line up the mat, let the shoulders come away from the ears. Breathe here. Notice if you might be tilting forward or back. Get that torso straight up and down. All right, let's straighten through that left leg. Bring the right hip back. Lean forward as much as you can, and then let the left hand come down and the right arm come up. Again, coming only as deep as you can keep that openness through the chest. If you start to curve forward and then the openness is only because your arm is back, come back up and see if you can really get that right shoulder over the left shoulder. Breathe here. Start to bend into that left knee and inhale the left arm all the way up overhead, reversing your warrior. As you exhale, bringing both hands around the left foot, come up on your right toes. Inhale your weight forward into that left leg and exhale, step the right foot forward, fold, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up through standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Let the palms come forward. Take a few moments in your mountain pose, really feeling the ground underneath your feet, maybe even moving your weight side to side a little bit, noticing you're balanced here. I want to offer up a different type of balance today. I think we always try to do these fun ones where we're tipping over all the time. So tonight, just to give it a try, let's bring the feet together completely. So the toes are together. Imagine those legs internally rotating. So if I had like a block between my legs, I'd be shooting it back behind me, the inside of my thighs coming in. Tuck that tailbone, engage your core, let the shoulders come low, and bring your hands to heart center here. So now just try closing your eyes. Noticing how your balance feels here tonight. And I want to offer this as an optional balancing pose at any time. So if you're feeling really off balance, but you still want to work on your balance, this is an option. And open your eyes, let your palms come forward. You can step the feet back out. We're going to come into our deep squat, which I know some people love and some people hate. So bring your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, angle that at 45 degrees. If you already know you can't get really low into this, then feel free to move over to a chair or to a couch. Bring your hands to heart center, and as you exhale, we're going to bend all the way down. So if you can get to this level here, and you you can work on it here. You're still engaging quite a bit of your muscles to hold that pose. So that's where a chair could really help. Or you can come all the way down here, bringing the elbows to the inside of the knees. Try to get your pelvis pointing straight down. So you're really trying to get tall through that spine here. And you want to keep your heels on the ground. So if you need to roll up a blanket or a pillow and put it under those heels, or even roll up your mat, you want to feel that connection with your heels. And then draw those hands down, bringing the elbows, pushing the legs out a little bit more. Try to open up through that chest so you're getting that nice long line through your spine. Breathe here. And it might feel nice, maybe even to kind of move side to side. Don't want to open up through the hips tonight. This is a very grounding pose. Let the hands come to the ground. We'll just straighten out through those legs, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to make our way over to the wall for the rest of the practice. So take your time. If you have a pillow or a block to help raise your hips up, you can grab that now. Also, if you'd like to put socks on or get cozy, luckily it is warming up out, so you might not need to get quite as cozy as you did a few weeks ago. Feel free to take yourself to the wall, get yourself set up. We're going to start with the figure 4 and then work into legs up the wall. So with the figure 4, depending on how flexible you are, you might not want to have your butt completely up against the wall. And I'm not going to use the pillow yet on my figure 4. So I'm going to scoop myself up against the wall. I'm leaving about a foot distance here. And then I'm going to come over onto my side and roll onto my back so that my legs come up the wall. So for figure 4, you can straighten out the legs and then bend that right knee, flex to the right foot, and bring it below the kneecap. You don't want to be to the place where you can't bend into the left knee at all. If you are, then you want to scoop yourself back further away from the wall so that you can take this bend here. And if you can't get your hips down on the ground because of where you are, then you want to move yourself back as well. So come to a place where your hips can be on the ground and you can bend into the left knee. So once you find this nice stretch through the right hip, in this version, you don't have to worry about holding on behind that left leg. So your arms are free to help push that right knee away. I like to hold on to this foot as well. And then you can start playing with sliding the left foot down the wall. Really think about those hips grounding down and feel that nice stretch through the right hip. Let's take some deep breaths, stretching out this right hip. Two more breaths. If it feels really good and you want to hold it longer, feel free. We'll straighten out that left leg, uncross them. And then we'll take it to the other side. So flex through that left foot and hook that left foot right above the knee on the right side. Take a moment, pushing away from that knee. Make sure your lower back is down on the ground. If you need to move in or out from the wall, make that adjustment now. And then start to slide that right foot down, coming into your figure 4 here, taking your time, taking nice deep breaths. And we'll just start to straighten out that right leg, uncross the left leg. Bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug, and roll over onto your side. So this time we're going to add that block or blanket or pillow underneath our hips. And I'm going to now scoot myself all the way to the wall. So now my butt is touching the wall. I'm taking that blanket, well, I'm taking this pillow, I'm putting it right behind my butt. I have it maybe an inch away from the wall, so that I can rest my sacrum on it, so that it's not angling my hips upward. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So my pillow has about an inch space between the pillow and the wall. Come down into that fetal position, scoot yourself up against the wall. Notice where your pillow is, and then bring those legs up the wall. If you need to push your hips up and adjust, you can do that. All right, let those palms face up towards the ceiling. Feet are hip distance apart. Just take some deep breaths here. If you find your mind wandering, maybe coming back to that mantra, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. We'll just take a few minutes here to let gravity do its work. We'll hold this for another minute or so. I like to just offer a couple variations. One that I particularly like is letting the legs come nice and wide. This split, and we've already done a lot to really open up through the inside of our legs today, so this feels really nice. Another option is to bring the soles of your feet together, taking that butterfly pose. Or you can feel free to keep those feet right up. Take another 5 breaths here. And if you'd like to stay here for your Shavasana, feel free. If you'd like to come down to the mat, then bring your knees into your chest. Gently roll over onto your side. And push yourself up to a seat and come to your mat. We'll come right down into Shavasana tonight. If there's anything else you want to do to stretch anything else out, or get yourself comfy, grab a blanket, turn the lights down, whatever you need to do to get yourself relaxed. We'll slowly make our way onto our back. Feel free to stay at that wall. Let the palms come forward, legs come long, knees and feet roll away from that center line. Feel free to add a pillow under the knees or to bend into your knees. If you're feeling any tightness through the lower back, you can even take that bound angle pose that we took in class, which might feel nice and open right now after all the hip work we did. Imagine yourself just melting into that mat, letting go with every exhale, maybe taking a nice body scan, Seeing if there's any place you're holding on to tension or any muscles you're still clenching. And we'll settle in here for a few minutes. Start to become aware of the sounds around you. Bring motion back into the body by deepening your breath. Whatever movement feels nice and natural tonight. Eventually, bringing the arms up overhead, stretching the legs nice and long. Drawing the knees into the chest. And making your way over onto your right side for a breath or two. With eyes closed, gently pushing yourself up to seated. So nice. It's 8 o'clock. It's still light out. I still hear birds chirping outside. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Thank you for practicing with me tonight. Namaste.